Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well today. Let's see, I think everything's working okay here. Good bit rate. So, I'm a fan of Twitch. Um, Zoom's okay. I don't really have anything against it. I just don't think I need to sit there staring at all of your webcams. So that's kind of boring. So if I'm the one doing all the talking, I figure this is probably a better platform for it. I just refreshed here. So I haven't seen any chat yet. Let me see if it comes back for me. So I think the computer knows it's a Monday. Well, hope you guys have your coffee. Definitely a big fan of coffee. I drink a lot of it. So one of the reasons I actually started using Twitch before the whole COVID pandemic stuff. Hey, howdy, there we go. Bunny Art. You're the first chat I see. Thanks for hopping along. Water? Yeah, water's good too. I mean, I put water through my coffee beans. Yeah, good morning. So I used to teach more classes over at U of M Dearborn, and someone had mentioned to me that, ooh, espresso, you're a good man, that I talk really fast, and I'm a little bit embarrassed by the feedback, but not so much. They said I was like a squirrel with an adrenaline shot. So I've tried to slow down a little bit, but you know how night classes can go. I mean, they're long and they're hard, and so I drink a lot of coffee, and I would probably talk a little fast. So I had the idea, because I'm a big nerd and I had watched stuff on Twitch before. I was like, hey, I could probably do that sort of thing. So I started broadcasting my regular in-person classes on Twitch, mostly so that there'd be a video archive of it. And I thought, hey, it'd be cool. And it was a winter class. I think it was 2 years ago now, I want to say, I first started. And, sometimes the roads got bad and people couldn't make it. So I said, well, hey, if the roads are too rough, you can't make it in person, just come hang out on Twitch and it'll be close. Little did I know that was practice for all this remote learning stuff. So hopefully you're all here for this, the CIS 1500 course. Hey, good morning. Glad you guys found it. I do want to apologize up front. Twitch is not a platform that we have paid for, so it is supported by ad revenue. So you might see an ad when you first join. I apologize for that. I'm pretty sure when you go look at the video archive, you won't see that. Or at least you'll see an ad, but you won't see any of the stuff that you might have missed, if you missed 30 seconds there or whatever. Oh, uBlock? Is that, I don't know. Someone that I worked with at one point had a discussion with me about ad blocking and how that was stealing from the internet or the content providers, and it made me feel a little bad, so I got rid of my ad blocker. Hey, good morning. So I've been using Twitch for a while. It works relatively well. Most of the things I do on my screen, anyway, I would just be showing up in the front of class. And this way you guys can hang out there and chat and ask questions. We do have the Discord server, and you guys can join. And if you're interested, let me know. I don't have my headset currently. I think it's probably back there on my desk charging, or hopefully it's charging. There's a voice chat channel. If you guys want, you can hop on there and ask me questions over voice. Which, sometimes it's easier than chatting, obviously. So unless I get the headset, though, it comes out over the speakers, and then everyone can hear it. So apparently I can't require that, which makes a lot of sense. We have all sorts of good requirements protecting your educational privacy. So Twitch is public. Hopefully you guys saw that note 3 different times that I posted it, just to make sure everyone saw it. So use whatever username you want. Someone actually had said last semester they thought it was easier for them to ask questions because I didn't know who they were. Sure. I mean, if that makes you more comfortable, go for it. I would hope you'd be comfortable asking me questions anyway, but that's okay. If not, it's no big deal. Yeah, so Twitch will keep the VODs for me for about 45 days, which should be plenty for anybody who misses it. But then I did have someone complain that, like, something we did the second week of class wasn't available when we did the final exam. Okay, so I do archive them over to YouTube because Twitch gives me like a one-click button to do that. It's super easy for me. So sure, why not? I can put them over on YouTube. I actually have, if you guys are bored, all of fall semester's courses over on YouTube already. I don't have 100 subscribers, so I don't get a cool URL like I do on Twitch that has my name in it. So you have to Google for me on YouTube or something like that, or I'll post links directly to the VODs for the class. Yeah, so because it will record it, Habla, I'm terrible with names, I apologize. Please correct me if I get them wrong. Yeah, I liked that it would archive them for me, rather than Discord. I'm running OBS anyway, like I think you guys saw this OBS stuff, so I could hit record, but then I have to go upload it and all this other stuff, and I don't know, it seemed like Twitch was a fun platform. I'm a giant nerd. I don't know if anyone saw, this is GM Hikaru Nakamura's, the number 2, I want to say, Grandmaster in America. He streams a lot of chess on Twitch, so I got his mug because it's cool. I do play chess on chess.com if anyone wants to play. You can find me, also Eric Chernesky. That's an easy username. So this was his opening gambit here that he likes to troll people with. It's they affectionately referred to as the Bong Cloud. The PC specs, I'm running on a Surface Book version 2, so it's got a decent amount of power here. So it usually holds up. Some things are still a little slow, but that's okay. All right, so I think everyone's in. Everyone's at their seat. We do also have along this semester, I'm super excited, a supplemental instructor with us. So he's able to attend class with you guys, and then he'll run the study sessions. Some people had already seen. There's this group tutor session that happens immediately after class every Monday and Wednesday, up through almost the last class, because the last one's the final. There's nothing to do after that. But those are optional for you guys, and I'll get to some more of the perks of doing that soon. But I was super excited when our Academic Support Center said, hey, we've got someone who is willing to be a supplemental instructor for you. Apparently not everyone will do it for everybody, or something like that. But she said they have actually done some studies of classes that have supplemental instruction and the difference in grades that students get for students who attend supplemental instruction sessions and students who don't. And there was a statistically significant difference in the grade point average of students who attended the supplemental instruction sessions. So it's like group tutoring, where you'll talk more about topics. It's not the individual tutoring that the ASC offers, which I'll also give you guys some links for. So that's much more individualized. This is meant to be a group session. Our SI is awesome, and he's very familiar with lots of things in tech. He's a real sharp guy. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy those sessions. And if you can't make them, I apologize. It's hard to schedule something that works for everybody, so we just try to do our best. But I have office hours as well. I guess I should just open up the syllabus. So hopefully you guys had a chance to read this. I'm not going to read everything to you. It's really boring, but I want to pull out the highlights here. And later today in Desire to Learn here, you'll see a little syllabus quiz pop up that you guys can take later. So here's my info. Hopefully it's not a surprise. My office hours, where I'll be hanging out on Discord. I can fire up Zoom if you guys prefer Zoom. It's not a problem. I just, I don't know. If you have non-specific code questions, like, hey, this is my line of code and it's not working well, and it's just, hey, about the assignment, could you tell me a little bit more? This part didn't make sense. If you post that in the class channel, then everybody gets to see it. It's kind of like we were sitting here in person and someone asks a question and everyone hears it out loud. So I prefer using Discord. Direct messages for sure, if anything specific or you want to keep private, or if you're sharing code, please keep that to direct messages. But you'll find me on Discord, so I'll be around Mondays 1 to 2, Tuesday and Thursday 1 to 3, Thursday 5:30 to 6. I've got a night class, so this is just before class. Oh, you don't hear anything? Let's see. Is it might have muted you automatically. There's an unmute option there. So like when you first join a channel, I think it starts it muted. You have to click to unmute, typically. Yeah, let me know if you're still having trouble. I think it's probably just muted initially when you first open up a channel. So should be okay. I do have a phone at the Orchard Ridge campus. I'm actually a new faculty member as of last semester, and getting hired in the middle of a pandemic is quite an interesting thing to have happen since we're not allowed on campus. So don't call my campus phone number. Here's my cell phone. Use that, please. I text as well if you prefer texting. I'm pretty good at that. Really, I'm up most days by 8 in the morning, maybe. I got into IT, so I wouldn't have to get up real early in the morning. But I'm usually up till about midnight or so. So feel free to call or text between 8 and midnight. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can if I can't answer. I do have 6 kids at home, so I'm rather busy most of the time, but I'll do my best to answer if I can. If not, tell me when it's okay to call you back. I've called people back at 10 p.m., like when things are finally quiet around the house and they get mad at me because they have to get up for work really early. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm up at 10. So just let me know what time is a good time to call back. Yeah, another notice here, public lectures, I'll archive them over on YouTube. Yeah, this is the course description. Hopefully you found this before. General education outcomes, we do that here. Common course outcomes, these are specific things that we will assess throughout the course, whether or not it's a quiz or a project or whatever, and this sort of stuff is common across all sections of CIS 1500. Hey, Ablo, you're awesome. Thanks for helping troubleshoot. So you'll see those assessed in different ways across all of the different CIS 1500 sections, and we kind of use that as some baseline data to make sure we're doing a good job teaching CIS 1500, and that's interesting. So we'll get to those, don't worry. But the last bit, we'll make a GUI program, a graphical user interface. The first 11 weeks, I want to say. No, you don't need your webcams at all for anything. Nope. And you're welcome to chat sometime, but so the first 10 weeks, 11 weeks or so are all going to be console applications. If that doesn't make any sense, don't worry. I'll show you what that means. But we finally get to programs like with buttons that you can click and things that you can do, interact with at the tail end. Our textbook here. Sorry, I need more coffee. I ran a mile this morning, and before my treadmill turned off. Apparently, plugging it into the power strip with my sump pump and the dehumidifier in the basement is not a good idea if you try and take it up too fast. But that's okay. So our textbook, Mr. Gaddis here, it has a peach on the cover. That's the 7th edition, this one here. And I actually have a real book, thanks to Pearson. There's also an ebook, just as fine. Either one is okay. The 6th edition is what we were using last semester. That one's still okay. There'll be a little difference when we get to the chapters on GUI programming, but either the 6th or the 7th, and you should be perfectly fine. Oh, they didn't even have it to rent? Oh, on Amazon? Yeah, try Barnes & Noble. They're surprisingly have a pretty good selection a lot of times, and they're pretty competitive. I've had a lot of luck with them lately. Yeah, but we will be using the textbook. So what I do is I give you what I find is the most interesting, the most important stuff out of the chapters. I don't read the book to you. I don't read the book PowerPoints to you. I'll upload all of the book PowerPoints for you guys so that you'll have access to them. I'll put that in Desire to Learn a little bit later today. I have to make sure I got the 7th edition. Yeah, you can go just do some Googling. Ping someone on Discord. I do appreciate the effort Mr. Gaddis put into it, and he should get some royalties from the book, but I know how things are, so just don't tell me where you found it, and we'll be okay. We'll be happy. So all the other tools we're going to use. This is a Java programming class here, so the couple important ones for Java are Netbeans. That's our integrated development environment. Yeah, you can just chat it on Discord if you want there. So Netbeans is our IDE, or our integrated development environment. That's where we're going to write our Java code and run it and debug it and have all sorts of fun stuff. Java, as we'll talk a little bit more about in Chapter 1, probably on Wednesday. I don't know if we'll get too much to it here. Yeah, if you like IntelliJ, you're welcome to use it, but everything I'm going to do is in Netbeans. So I'm not as fluent with IntelliJ. But if you like it and you know how to use it, go for it. We're going to use the Open Jdk library. So Java recently, I don't know how recent is a correct term, but had a split where Oracle bought Java and is now taking care of maintaining it. And they went as far as making you get a license for using it for commercial purposes now. That's new, as in Java always used to be an open source language that you didn't have to pay for, even for commercial purposes. So there's a split now. So there's the Oracle commercial license version that you need. We could use that as students in education, no problem. But then you can't do anything else with your code, and I would just rather show you the open source version. So we're going to use the Open Jdk, the open source version that kind of split off of Oracle and it's maintained. I don't actually know who maintains it though. I used to know. So Netbeans and the Open Jdk, we're going to use the latest version. Lots of things change often, so the latest will get you through, and I'll take you through installing all of these tools. We'll go through how to install all of them. It's not too big of a deal. It goes pretty quick. Just a little bit of a download. So depending on your speed, it might take a couple minutes. And then when we get into our graphical user interface programming, we'll use the OpenJFX. That's the JavaFX GUI programming style or syntax. I don't remember what we'd call it here. So we're going to take advantage of that. Again, that's another open source library here. And then we're going to use Scene Builder from Gluon. Gluon also does the OpenJFX stuff. So I'll show you how to install all of that stuff when we get there. It's not too bad. And Scene Builder is really cool because you don't have to build your graphical user interface in code. You get drag and drop features, which is just phenomenal. If all of this doesn't work very well for you, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a couple. And we'll be using GitHub, which is a hosting provider of the Git source control system. So Git was started by Linus Torvald, I want to say is his name. I probably pronounce it wrong. He's the founder of Linux, and he said he could come out with a better source control system, so he wrote Git. GitHub is a hosting provider of it. They say, hey, here you can put all of your stuff in Git on our servers, and now it's owned by Microsoft, and they give it away for free for certain purposes. So what I'll have you guys do for your first project when we get there, again, sounds like we're getting into a lot, but don't worry, we'll take it one step at a time, is you'll create a github.com account, which again is public. GitHub is a public service here. You'll give me your username, and I'll make you a place to go put your code. I'm fond of the GitHub desktop client because it's the same no matter which IDE I'm using, which language I'm using, whatever. It stays consistent. Different IDEs can hook right into Git, but I'm just going to use the GitHub desktop client because I think it's nice and easy and consistent. And that way you're familiar with this one. So all of your code will go into GitHub, which will eventually make it out to github.com. And if it's available on github.com, then I'll be able to see it and grade it. So I really don't like when people email me Java files, .java files, or submit .java files to Desire to Learn, because it's just a pain, right? So if we can put all of our code in a source control system, which is designed to handle code, then we can actually use some enterprise tools or real tools, industry tools, and they're made for sharing code. That's literally what it's for. Now, source control is not just for teamwork. A lot of people think it's only useful if you are working in groups, and it's so useful, phenomenal, has so many good features if you're working in groups on the same piece of code, but it's for individuals too, because it will track your code for you, it will version it, you'll have the history there, and then it's in the cloud or on someone else's computer, as I like to say, and GitHub makes I think they make a lot of money. At least they bring in a lot of money. I don't know if they're actually making money, but they bring in a lot of money selling this hosting service to people. So it's very unlikely they're going to lose your code because that's their business, is keeping people's code safe and secure in the cloud. So then there's no, the dog ate my homework or my laptop won't turn on kind of thing, because your code will always be there. It's phenomenal. So those are the tools we're going to use. I'll walk you through all of them. Okay, we'll get there. Don't worry. If that doesn't work for you, or you just can't install things on your computer, or whatever option is, that's fine. We also have a virtual desktop program that we were piloting last semester. I think it's still officially a pilot, just because they're scared to say it's official now. I can check with our folks in IT. but you can connect to a computer at OCC that has all of this stuff already installed except for GitHub and do everything there. The version was a little bit old last time I checked, but it shouldn't be a big problem at all. Like, it'll still do all the things. Just going back and forth might be a little bit awkward. But yeah, you should be fine. If you run into trouble, let me know. So that's the set of tools we're going to be using. You can use any email you want, any username you want, whatever you prefer. Yep. Yeah, sign up however you want. You will get emails from GitHub when I comment on your code. So just make sure you look at that email. Don't use like a throwaway one that you never use again, I should say. Specific policies to our course here. From the OCC handbook, the academic integrity policy, or I think that's what it is here. You shall not engage in behavior in which the judgment of me, the instructor, may be construed as academic dishonesty. Yeah, I'll talk about GitHub later. So it may be included plagiarism. Plagiarism is what typically happens in coding classes. You turn in someone else's code. That's plagiarism. Just like when you write an English paper, if you use someone else's sentence and you don't give them credit, that's plagiarism. It's presenting someone else's ideas as your own without giving credit to the originator. Okay? Or getting a test or other material from someone else. Sharing your quiz with someone else. Okay? This is students who aid and abet. Such a weird term here. I'm not very good at English. I got into computers for reasons. But if you share the test or the quiz, you are just as liable as the person who asked you for it. Okay? So that's no good. And what happens is, in my class specifically, if you engage in academic dishonesty, you will fail the course immediately. There is no second chance. There is no, oh, I didn't understand. That's the policy. I don't think people who cheat should get degrees, because it devalues the degree, because when they get hired and they don't know what they're doing and they suck at their job, people are going to think we do a crappy job of teaching people. So if I catch you, and it's possible I might not, but please just don't even try, you will fail the course and you get reported to the dean's office, and then the dean has to take care of it from there. And I believe, I'm still firming up how we do things around here, but I'm pretty sure we have a 3-strike policy at OCC, meaning after 3 times of being reported to the dean's office, you are no longer welcome as a student at OCC. So we do take this very seriously. If you're not sure, just ask. Yeah, changing variable names, I've had people do that, and they think that they're slick and I won't notice, and sometimes I might not, but I do notice sometimes. Code that isn't yours looks different, right? To be honest, Stack Overflow is going to lead you down a rabbit hole most of the time. Like, the odds of you finding a hit for a classroom assignment are low unless you go and ask for it. And if you go and post something and ask for help on it, that's academic dishonesty. Right? If you say, hey, here's my assignment, can you help me with it? That's no good. If you go and find something, you are welcome to cite your source. Right? I get paid a lot of money as a software engineer to go find things online. Right? All you have to do is cite your source. Right? Plagiarism is without giving credit to the originator. Okay, so if you found something on Stack Overflow, you can leave a comment in your code and say, hey, I found it here. I'm cool with that. Right? It's my job as instructor to come up with assignments that you can't copy paste from online. And that usually works well for me. Have had occasions where I didn't Google very well, or Bing. I prefer Bing because they give me coffee. But that's on me. Yeah, the classes right now, Jdk, J-A Kippy. So I do take this seriously, but if you're not sure, all you have to do is ask. Sadly, I had 3 students cheat on their final exam, or the final project. I don't have an exam thanks to remote learning, which is awesome. They took some code they found online, turned it in. Weirdly, someone turned in code in a different programming language, and I was really confused by that. So, like, that one was obvious. The other 2, it was relatively obvious as well, because it just didn't look like their code. and it didn't even run. And then someone else found a different project someone else had done. This is a course in Java. It's right in the stream title there. We're doing Java programming eventually. We're not going to do a whole lot of Java today, unfortunately. We'll get there. We got to install our tools. We got to talk about the syllabus, do all of our typical first day of class stuff. Oh, I think I forgot to close my office door. Just a second. All right, there you go. Chair stream. Sorry about that. The joys of having 6 kids at home. That's okay. You can learn Java. All right. So that's the policy. Again, if you're not sure, all you have to do is ask me. Like, hey, I found this online. Can I use it? And I'll say, sure, cite your source. And I'll show you how. Okay? It's really okay. Like, that's what professional software engineers do all the time. We use stuff we find online. But because we're in an academic setting, we have to give credit to the originator. All right? If you turn something in and you don't give credit to someone else, I'm going to assume it's yours. But you're making my day today. You're a hero. All right, so let's see. Okay, we're doing good so far. So other things, it's in every syllabus, which is kind of silly. Like remain in class till dismissed. So I'm sorry it's here, but it's template stuff. So that sort of stuff. What everyone seems to care about is how you get your grade for the course. I use a weighted system, which I actually had someone comment in the end of semester surveys and they said this was confusing. So I'm assuming I didn't explain it well. So let me take a minute to explain it here. Is all of the individual projects you guys get are worth half of your grade in the class. We're going to do 5 projects individually, and I'll show you them in a little bit here. We're going to have a quiz on every chapter we talk about in the textbook. Those cumulatively make up 10% of your score. And Desire to Learn does this automatically too, which is cool. And I can show you how to do it in Excel if you're curious and want to like project future grades and whatnot. But it's just the weight of that category contributes this much to your final score. The midterm's 15%, and we'll have a final project that works out to 25% of your score. So in terms of take-home work that you guys are going to do, that's 50% from projects, 25% from final projects. The quizzes have unlimited time on them, up until the due date at least. So the only thing that you don't have unlimited time on, and unlimited is probably the wrong word, but like that you're not time bound on, you'll have at least a week for everything, will be the midterm. That's only 15%. I hated high stress. Yeah, we're an online class here. Remote learning thanks to the COVID-19. So the only part here that you might be stressed about is the midterm. That one does have a limited time window. That's just to make it fair for everybody, because I have to give it over a single day to discourage people from sharing it. So if everyone takes it around the same time, then it works out better. And I'm just going to trust you guys not to join into group chats or use Discord or whatever to answer all the questions together. It's low stakes here, only 15, and I know 15% is a lot, but in terms of the overall weight here, it's not weighted as much as the other things here. But this one will have a 2-hour time limit on it, as if we were taking it in person. No, we meet Monday, Wednesday. So everything else you'll have lots of time to work on, and you should feel good about it before you turn it in. The quizzes come from the textbook and from stuff that I say, so just because I didn't say it doesn't mean it's not fair game for the quiz, because that'll come from the textbook. So we'll talk about the textbook chapters, right? You guys can use your textbook when you take it. It's an open book, open notes, open internet quiz, just not open neighbor, right? Use your resources for the quizzes there. The midterm is open book, open notes, open textbook, open whatever stuff. Again, but it's a timed exam. So, right, I don't expect anybody to memorize anything. We have so many things going on, and nobody knows everything off the top of their head. What you learn as a good software engineer is where to find resources, where to find your answers, and go look it up. And honestly, the textbook will be fantastic for nearly everything we're doing. Okay? So that's how you get your grade. Again, their weights, so 50% of your overall score comes from your project scores. So inside the project's category, there'll be different assignments with different points, and the points only matter within that category. So once we get a couple things in there, hopefully that'll make a little more sense. The letter grade, and some people love to target specifically an A, so you know what you need to get for 94. Here's where it is, right? And on down. This should be standard. I'm pretty sure it's standard. Excuse me. An N grade, if you don't turn in the first project, you're likely to get an N grade. And I'll be checking in with you. So this has to do with our federal funding and sorts of scholarships and whatnot. So if you're listening today, you should be fine. And we'll get to that later. But that's the second week, I want to say. So as long as you turn in your first thing, you should be fine. No, you should be fine, Jdk. You can do Java in middle school. Usually it's more of a high school level, like they'll teach you this in AP Computer Science, they'll teach Java, but there's nothing too hard to it. FERPA. FERPA means I will not tell anybody anything about you. I don't typically give extra credit. I think that's weird in college level classes, but that's just my weird system. I should say for the quizzes here, to encourage you guys to take advantage of our supplemental instruction sections, every quiz will have a bonus point that you can get for attending an SI session. So if you've attended an SI session in that week, when we have the chapter quiz on that chapter, you can get a bonus point on it. I guess that's technically extra credit. Yeah, I suppose it is, because then you could get 110% on the quiz. Typically, the quiz is about 10 questions each. Yeah, you would have to dual enroll at Oakland Community College in Michigan, Oakland County. Yeah, you should talk to Enrollment Services at Oakland Community College. Actually, I don't think I have a link. I should. I've got a little bot that can respond to a couple things, but not about that. If you need some sort of accommodations through the Americans with Disabilities Act, you need to talk to the Access Office first. Then they'll send me the information and I can do reasonable accommodations. Given this is online and everything is not necessarily time-bound, you should be okay. But if you do need some additional test-taking time through Access, they'll let me know. You need to ask me for it, though. Just because I got the paperwork from Access doesn't mean it's going to happen, because some people just have it in place in case they feel like they need it, and then they think they're doing fine. So the midterm will probably be the only thing that we'll need to worry about for that. But do get in touch with me if you have your paperwork on file with them, and we can go from there. The Academic Support Center is fantastic. We do have supplemental instruction through this class, and they also have tutoring, which you can check this out. I don't know if they have the schedule yet. We'd have to see. The Orchard Ridge online tutoring schedule, I think, is your best bet. Auburn Hills also does offer CIS 1500, so you could probably work with one of their tutors. I'm not very familiar with that cross-campus stuff. This whole online thing is crazy. Yeah, probably not going to happen from South Korea, JKB, but you're welcome to hang along and learn something, or hopefully. So here we go. So this is specific to individual tutoring here. Oh, it's just bad formatting. They did terrible on their PDF. Okay, that's crazy. But Rika has been a tutor with us for a long time, and this is individualized tutoring where you have to schedule an appointment, but it is free. Totally free through our Academic Support Center, and she does tutor for 1500, which is our class. So if you want an individual appointment at one of these times, you feel free to schedule with Rika, and we can go from there. So that link is out there as well for you guys. The Academic Support Center is awesome. I think it's one of the coolest things we have at a community college, that we have an entire office dedicated to assisting students. They also have study skill seminars, which are phenomenal. They encourage us to give credit for these sorts of things, and again, I don't like doing that sort of stuff, but they are phenomenal seminars. So D2l, that's our course site. It looks like everyone was able to log in okay, which is great. So D2l specific problems, call the D2l Helpdesk here. Call them anytime for anything specific to desire to learn. Anything about the course content, you got to talk to me, right? So they're just the website, just the hosting provider for it. All the content that goes into it is me. Other stuff, sure. The technology appropriate use regulations, it applies to your use of D2l and the virtual desktops. Don't do stupid things, don't do illegal things, don't do inappropriate things, right? Use it for what it's meant for, and you should be fine. Netiquette. This is good professional tips here. I'm a very informal sort of person here, so I'm fine if you yell at me. And not yell, but like, if you want to type in all caps, you type in all caps. That's yelling online, right? We typically frown on that, but sure, go for it. Have fun. Public safety, I don't think applies this semester given we're remote, but if you do want to go on campus, you can read all about it here. They're an awesome department. They do a pretty good job taking care of everyone and being there to help out. For me, so typically I'll have stuff graded within a week of when it was due. So if you get it in early, it doesn't always mean I'm going to grade it early. So a week of the due date. Email, whatever, contacts, typically within 24 hours all the time. If I'm going to be gone somewhere, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. But I have my email on my phone, just like probably a lot of you guys. I probably don't want to show you my screen. This is my pocket 20, I guess not 24 hours a day. It doesn't sleep in my pocket, but it's by my side all the time, unless my son's watching YouTube Kids on it. It's his favorite thing to do, is to watch YouTube. All right, cool. Sorry, my email beeps. I'm wondering if it's like somebody saying they're having trouble. So, yeah, I'll get back to you quick. Again, you can call, you can text, you can find me on Discord. We got lots of options. Whatever you prefer, I'm good with. All right, now the good stuff, the course schedule. This is the fun part here. Okay, so today is the course introduction. I'll show you all the tools, how to install stuff. Next Wednesday, next class session, is going to be Chapter 1. Introduction to Computers and Java, and you'll have your first project assigned. This one is easy, I promise. Okay, it's just making sure you got all the tools installed and you got everything up and running. So this will be the only one with a shorter due date. Okay, this will be due by class on 1/20 to make sure everyone got everything set up right, because we start the first real project after that. And the other projects typically will have a 2-week period for you guys to do it. So it'll be about stuff we've talked about that week. So we'll spend 3 sessions on Chapter 2, Java Fundamentals, and then a week on Decision Structures in Chapter 3. Chapter 4, we break up into 2 sections, into loops for 1 week, and then files for another week. Oh, doesn't it use Java? I thought the AP Computer Science stuff was Java. Oh, what language did they use? That's interesting. Because I think Computer Science Principles is like a newer AP class, and it's not actually the same, and we don't give credit for 1500 for it. It's some weird thing with AP, and I don't know. I'm still relatively new learning all this stuff. So anyway, so we'll do 2 weeks on Chapter 4. So I'll still have 2 quizzes here, one on loops and one on files. Just they're different enough concepts. It's a little weird. They're all in one chapter. I don't know why Mr. Gaddis does that, but sure, that's fine. I didn't write the book, so excuse me. And then a week on methods. So this project 3, I wasn't going to have due over winter break. I was going to have due probably by 3:10 maybe. I don't know, somewhere in here, so you can actually have a break if you want it. We'll have an entire class session dedicated to midterm review, and then on 3:10 we'll have our midterm exam. It doesn't have to happen between 10 and noon. I understand things go on in life, and we are running this class possibly asynchronously for anybody who can't make it live. So pretty much midnight, 3:10 in the morning till 11:59 p.m., 3:10 in the evening, you can take the midterm exam, but it will be time bound. So once you hit start, you'll have two hours to hit submit, just to try and keep things fair for people. That way, if you're more of a night person like I am, you can take it at night when you're more awake or more focused and whatever, and not super sleepy at 10 in the morning, because 10 in the morning is awful. Actually, I shouldn't say 10 is awful. 10 is okay. It's not too bad. They have 8 a.m. classes, and I'm actually an OCC alumni myself from several years ago. If you guys look me up on LinkedIn, it's basically my online resume. you could find out some information. Hey, Dodo, thanks for popping by. So my wife took an 8 a.m. math class so that she could get to her job by 10ish in the morning. And that was like the worst thing ever, to have to get up to go to a math class for her. She's not a fan of math. I like math a lot, but even I would struggle with some motivation to get there at 8 a.m. for a math class. So, excuse me. And I do feel your guys' pain as students in this remote learning stuff. I'm actually a doctoral student over at U of M Dearborn. It's a Doctor of Engineering program for lots of reasons, whatever. So I'm researching federated machine learning applications in automotive systems and mobility, which has been really interesting. But I had to drop the class I was taking in the fall just because this remote learning thing was not working for me. I'm very much an in-person person. I'd like to be there in person and like sit in the class and be able to ask questions live. And just Zoom University didn't work for me. So I can appreciate your guys' struggles, and let me know what I can do to help, right? That's literally why they pay me, right? Anybody could go buy the textbook and read it and do these Java things here. I get paid to answer your questions and to help you guys learn it. I don't like to say that I'm paid to teach you things, right? I'm paid to help you learn, I think is the way I like to phrase it here. Because that's the goal, is that you guys learn something, okay? And there's lots of ways you can learn it. You can learn from me talking, you can learn from the textbook, you can learn from practice, you can learn from Stack Overflow, sure. Right? My job is to help you find the answers and be able to practice it yourself. So I strongly believe the only way to get better at programming is to write code. So that's why we have lots of projects. So each project you'll have about 2 weeks on, except for this first one. But again, it's just a set up your tools kind of project. We'll talk about that one on Wednesday. So 2 weeks for each one. They are due typically before class starts. So this one on 120 will be due on 2/3 before class starts, because what's going to happen on February 3rd is I'm going to show you the solution to project 1. So I don't take anything late. I think that was in here somewhere. I feel like it should have been in here. Late policy. No, not applicable. I don't take stuff late. There is no late policy. That's what it is. So that's why it's NA. If you don't get it in by the due date, I'm going over the solution at that time. So it's a hard fixed due date. Either you have it in or you don't. I'm sorry. But you should have at least 2 weeks to work on these things. So it usually works for most people. I do occasionally get people with some crazy circumstances. And if you keep me in the loop ahead of time, like if you have some sort of crazy family emergency, I have in the past given an alternate assignment for some sort of extenuating circumstances, but it's not, oh, I'm sorry, I was busy and I forgot to do it. That doesn't get you anything like that. But just let me know. Again, I'm here to help, do the best I can. I think I come off like a big jerk often with the academic dishonesty policy. So, you know, I'm sort of friendly, maybe. All right, and then after the midterm, we'll come into classes, pick up chapter 6, 7, and then we jump around a little bit. Ooh, hydrate, thank you. I've been told that coffee is not officially good for hydration, but, you know, I'm going to drink some coffee. Oh, thank you. My posture check. Yeah, there's these channel points. They're just some fun, silly things. I have this little spine stretcher thing I got. Even tea? I thought tea was okay. Is it just the caffeine in it? So maybe like a lower caffeine tea might be better, Dodo? I don't know. Excuse me. Thank you. So I'll sit up a little better. I'm still using the onboard mic on the laptop, so hopefully the sound is decent. I haven't had people complain too much about it. Usually works decently well. Excuse me. Oh, one other fun thing. If you do !TKF, it's short for the Knowledge Fellowship. That's another one of the reasons I got hooked up on Twitch, to show my classes and just use it as a platform. So it's !TKF, and I'll give you a little link to all sorts of other educational content on Twitch, which is really cool. You'll find a couple of college classes here and there, but a lot of them is just people who just love to share the things that they're good at. There's a guy who is a car mechanic, and he just shows his stuff that he does when he's fixing cars, which is interesting to watch because I know literally nothing about cars and how they work. There's a guy who is a blacksmith, which has been interesting to catch some of his stuff. Someone does like CNC lathe sort of creation sort of things. And then there's chemistry profs, and there's economics and cognitive science. I forget, psychology, whatever. All sorts of cool things. So you can check them out, and you definitely give them some credit for some inspiration for just trying to share some knowledge here. So that's the tentative schedule. Again, we jump around some chapters. So we take the first 7 in a row, and we jump into 10. We sort of need 10 before 12 and 13 will make a lot of sense here for our GUI applications. We'll get into some basics of writing a GUI. Our final project will be a graphical user interface application. Some miscellaneous topics that I want to get into that aren't necessarily in the textbook. We'll do that last week. And then I've got time reserved specifically to work on the final project. If we were doing this in person, we would typically be in pairs for the final project. I know it's weird in remote. No machine learning classes this semester, sorry. So if you want to pair up with somebody, you're welcome to do it. I'm not going to make people work in groups given our remote learning environment, but usually we would have time in class, like to get together with our group to work on things and parcel that out. But the last sessions here are just for you guys to work on that final project. Again, would have been in pairs, but that's okay if you're not here. And then I have an idea to do presentations of your final project. We usually would do it in front of the entire class. I don't think that's going to work very well. So I'm just going to put out some times where you guys can show me your final project. It's just like a 10-minute thing. Shouldn't take a whole lot of time here, but I'll schedule a couple slots for you guys to do some presentations, or if you even want to record it, that's cool too. But if we can do it live and I can ask questions, that's much preferred. So this will be the only synchronous piece that will be required of you guys. And again, if it totally doesn't work, I mean, my schedule is relatively flexible, so I could probably make it work. But if it's just, for whatever reason, we can make do otherwise. You guys will present your final projects, not in front of the entire class unless you want to, but just to me, and we'll just kind of talk through the project, and I think that'll work out well. And we're going to do the final project in lieu of a final exam, which is awesome, because I'd really rather see if you can write code than take a test. And we should be good. So that's the tentative schedule for the next 15 or so weeks. We're off a little bit longer. It goes into 17 because we have this hanging Monday because of MLK Day. The college does have some cool events going on for MLK Day as well. So if you're interested, we got some cool stuff going on there. Yeah, so we'll do 1 quiz per chapter, except for chapter 4, we'll have 2 quizzes on. And so if you have attended the SI session for that week, you can get an extra point on that quiz. So if you attend the SI session this week, I'll give you an extra point on the chapter 1 quiz. Right, if you attend one of the sessions during chapter 2 week, right, whether or not it's the 20th, 25th, or 27th, I'll give you an extra point on that one. And we'll go on from there. So definitely hope you guys can take advantage of that time. I'm really excited we can have an SI. Apparently, I don't know how it all worked out, but someone recommended that I get one. I got an email from one of our adjuncts. She's an awesome instructor who's been with us for a while. And she said, I've heard good things about you, but some students said your projects are harder. Like, okay. So that's, okay. It's different, I guess. All right, so that's the syllabus. Any other questions before we change some topics? And we'll look at actually installing some of these tools here in a little bit for you guys. I'll keep all these links up. Any other questions about our syllabus, our tentative schedule for the semester? Looking forward to having you guys along. The first quiz will be from chapter 1. I'll post it after we talk about chapter 1 on Wednesday. Sounds like a compliment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be doable, I think, is my philosophy. Because if it was easy, it's kind of a waste of your time, right? To download for the class. I'm going to show you all that stuff in just a minute, Paulin. So this is the list of tools we're going to use here. Everything on this page. Supplemental materials. So GitHub. You found Twitch already. Discord. It's technically optional for Discord. Definitely recommend you guys join the channel. yeah, it is, I mean, you're only going to get better if you practice. So, so we're going to use NetBeans, the OpenJDK, and we'll get to JFX and Scene Builder when we get to the GUI programming, but I wanted to have the links here. You can set it up early if you want, but just NetBeans and JDK for now. Yeah, so my coffee cup is empty. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break or so? I'll put some music back on. You guys can relax or go do whatever you need, and we'll pick it back up with setting up our tools, and we can go from there. Does that sound all right? Hey, let me do this real quick. I have a poll. I have these Twitch polls, which is fun. Syllabus. So just a quick little poll here. It's gonna, over in Twitch chat, it's gonna ask just about the syllabus, whether or not you're on the what is that range, or if you're make sense range. I probably should have had a middle ground, but that's okay. Comments. It was hard to write. It should be hard to read. I have feelings about code comments, strong feelings from my professional background, and not everyone agrees with me, and that's okay. That's part of the fun. I took this class, CIS 1500, way back. I'm not that old, but I took it quite a while ago. I want to say it was 2005, I think is when I took it. Yeah, I believe there's an SI session today. It's on the schedule. Yeah, thank you. So I took this class way back when, and I thought I wanted to get into IT management and be a CIO and all this sort of stuff. So I actually went to a business school and got an IT degree for my undergrad, and then a master's in information systems, specialized in project management. And I got a chance to do it, and I hated it. It was terrible. Project management at a large organization consisted of me going around asking people to do their work, please. And that was just depressing. And it might have been the environment, it might have been the company, but not being the one to do the work was really sad for me. So I had a pivot and changed and wanted to get into teaching. But from my experience in 1500 years ago, my program did all of the things it needed to do perfectly. I mean, sure, it was a little puzzle assignment, whatever it was. It did it all. But I got marked down because I was missing a comment that was required. And I swore to myself that day that I would never take points off of people's assignments if it worked. So if your code works, you will get the points. I do not ever require comments. I am teaching you guys to code, and I trust that if you want to go write code comments and follow the Java doc standard, you guys are smart enough to do it. I don't want to take our valuable class time to teach you how to write documentation. And not that it's not worthwhile. There are certainly projects that are super important and super useful, and I'm thankful we have Java documentation for certain things. Definitely important, especially when you're writing APIs and sort of things that people will interact with. But if you can get the project working, you'll get the points. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it takes you 10 times as long as it takes me to write it. Right? As long as it works, you're going to get the points. So for every project, I'll give you guys a rubric, and it will say, if it does this, you get the points here. If it does this, you get the points here. If it does this, you get the points here. If it doesn't do that, you don't get the points for it. And it's pretty straightforward. So there will never be points for comments. And I don't mean to say that comments aren't important. Again, I get yelled at by some of my faculty colleagues for my view on comments occasionally. But I'm not going to require them because I lost points on an assignment back when I was a student, and it upset me. So, long story, but that's the plan. All right, so why don't we take a couple minutes here, maybe 6 or 7 minutes. We'll join back up. I'll put on some more music here. It is through Spotify, so I do occasionally get ads, which is embarrassing when they're like, for Arizona State University, go to online school. So we'll see if we get lucky here. There we go. Okay, so we got another song. We'll go on break for a few minutes. Let me put the screen up here. Break time. Okay, and we'll come back, not 7:12 p.m. Wow, that was the last time I went on break. So let's do, say, 11:04. How about 11:04 a.m.? just to have a weird, awkward time here. All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Microban 24 protects against Staphylococcus aureus and Enterobacter aerogenes bacteria, but does not provide 24-hour protection against viruses. Every time you touch a surface, you leave behind bacteria. To keep surfaces sanitized all day, use Microban 24 sanitizing spray. Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9% of viruses and bacteria initially, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Once dry, Microban 24 sanitizing spray is effective for 24 hours on bacteria when used as directed.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Frozen Rolls, yeah. Goals last long, it's TP goals, yeah. Charmin's got 6 rolls in one. Lasts forever on my buns. Only super mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin's Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in one. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
There's no escape. You can't hide. They're following you. Your cravings for nacho fries will never stop. The warm nacho cheese sauce and savory Mexican spices will not let you get away. So there's only one thing left to do. Run to Taco Bell, because nacho fries are back. Head to Taco Bell and silence your cravings before nacho fries disappear again. Only at Taco Bell, at participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we did hit some Spotify ads, that's unfortunate. I do have a different set of music that I got from somebody, which is cool, but I haven't set it all up to use yet, unfortunately, so I'm still using Spotify. But he sent me the MP3s, which is really cool. So I was pretty happy for that. So I can do that without ads coming up soon. So all right, so we're going to talk a little bit about some of these tools here, and I will show you what we need to do. So let's start with Netbeans. We'll open up Netbeans and download it first. I already have it installed from last time, sorry, but it's not too hard. So either one, I usually just go with the latest and you should be fine. So you just click the download button. So this is Apache Netbeans 12 Feature Update 1. Sure, we'll hit download. Hey, you know what? I could probably even uninstall it too. And if you're on Windows, great, use the Windows installer. Mac, Linux, they have their own installers. Don't do the source one. The binary one is actually pretty easy too. You can just unzip the whole thing, which is fun, instead of having to install it. But then you don't always get a nice little link to it. So like using an installer, you can be able to hit start and type in like Netbeans. Netbeans, there we go. Come on, wake up computer. And it'll show up here. So let me file location. Let's see where this one is. This is what happened when I did all this last semester. I did not want to reinstall my entire computer just for this. So there it goes. Yeah, there's the shortcut. Okay. So put a shortcut in. Properties of the shortcut. Let's see where the shortcut points. Okay, cool. So yeah, I installed it to this OpenDev folder. So there's actually a YouTube video out there, or two, that Dr. Baugh did for installing NetBeans and the OpenJFX that I'll point you guys to later. He has a nice little walkthrough. He puts it in a folder called Java stuff. Our virtual machines we have access to have a folder called OpenDev. So I figured that'd be a little easier to keep things consistent. Oops, that's not the one I want. So if I copy that path and come out to, oops, everything here. Why so slow? There we go. OpenDev. This is my NetBeans folder. So I've got NetBeans installed here. Should work for you. Yeah, it's like super slow. That's weird. So you can download and install it, and then you'll have NetBeans set up. You actually, I should have put them in the other order. That was wrong of me. If you do the OpenJDK first, we'll need to tell NetBeans where the JDK is in case it doesn't find it. So with the OpenJDK, we want version 15 is the latest and greatest here, JDK 15. And we want the Windows one here. So this is just a zip folder. So what you do is when you download the zip folder, it's going to go download all of that here, put it in downloads, give it a few minutes, and then we will unzip it into this OpenDev folder. So in OpenDev is where I put all of this stuff. I've got some old versions hanging out here. So the JDK version 15.01, okay, looks like I have that one good. So you'll just unzip that entire folder and put it in here. And this is everything in there. There's other stuff inside. You don't need to worry too much about it. This is the Java Development Kit. That's JDK. This is the software you need for developing Java. There's also a Java runtime environment, the JRE. That's what's installed on devices so that they can run Java. So Java is a pretty cool language. We'll talk more about it on Wednesday when we get into chapter 1 here. But you'll unzip all of this into that folder, and then we'll install NetBeans. You know, let me just, let's go for it. Let me uninstall NetBeans. Nope, that's, always click that one. That is the wrong one. I don't want to install that. Uninstall. There, add or remove programs and settings. There we go. That's not a match. I think my computer knows Monday. It's getting cranky. All right, and I had to upgrade the cup size here, so I ran out of my other mug too early. And I have a thermal coffee pot. The carafe is thermal. It's amazing, so it keeps the coffee hot without having to run the burner on the bottom. But my wife gets upset when I take the entire coffee pot up to my office. So let's see if I can find NetBeans. There it is. Yeah, it's just super slow. Let me close down some stuff maybe. I think we're probably done with our music. Come on. NetBeans. There we go. So I will uninstall NetBeans. That way I can install it fresh for you fine folks. That's the wrong one. Yes, yes, yes. Uninstall. Come on. Find me NetBeans. Right, so I'm going to open this one here, my JDK. Yeah, the virtual machine has it all installed already. All right, cool. So here's the JDK here. So you just right click and you go to extract all. And you tell it where do you want to put it. So I'm going to hit browse. Go to C, and I made the folder called OpenDev. You might need to make one here. And you'll just extract it right here. It might just take a little bit to load that page. I mean, it's just the Oracle page for the JDK. It should go there. So we'll select. I already have it there, so I don't want to extract it again. But it's going to put a new folder out here called JDK 15.01. And that'll put that one out there. It should be in good shape. So I'm actually going to cancel that here. I want to uninstall NetBeans. And we'll go re-download NetBeans. Now, only using the OpenJDK, you might actually run into one small piece of trouble here, but that's okay. We'll get you through it in a second. I'll show you that. Oh, sure. Go to a mirror site. So that's Berkeley. I like that. Berkeley.edu is probably better than some of these weird ones that I don't know what those websites are. All right, we'll download Netbeans. So like you couldn't even get to the zip file? Jupiter, I'm in class right now. What's up? Do you need something? No? All right, I love you. Close my door, please. Yes, you can have some gum. Please close my door. Yep, and I'll show you guys the virtual machine in a little bit. Maybe I can show you while this is downloading. So if you go to that link, it will show you where you can download the client. There is a web-only version. It's less responsive than the full client version. So would definitely recommend the full client version here, the Horizon client. You'll get better performance. It's still not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So there's a video you can watch if you want, or just the little PDF, and it shows you all these things to do. You can open up the Horizon VMware client, and you point it at apps.opencc.edu, and you can connect with your online services username, password, or myOCC username, password. And this is that agreement. Yes, we will not use the system for bad things. You should be able to log in. Then it's the college-wide CIS desktop that we're connecting to. Now, I've had some mixed results. Oh, I didn't want full screen. That's ugly. Not full screen. Typically, you'll get the same desktop register because it will remember you, but it's not guaranteed. So thankfully, when we use GitHub as our source control tool, we can push our changes out to github.com in the cloud. And if we lose our desktop, we will still have our code in GitHub. So a good flow for when we're writing code, and I'll show you guys in a little bit here, is you want to commit and push early and often. And those words probably don't make a lot of sense, but I'll show you what they are in a second. All these links work. So the link for Apache Netbeans will take you to the mirrors. Any of them should be fine, but the first one here is, hey, the Berkeley mirror should be fine. Should be good. It's probably better to just go get the latest version from here, because if I go upload these to Desire to Learn, they can get stale really fast. If you have trouble with it, let me know. I mean, I can put the downloads on Desire to Learn. It's not a problem to do that, but it's usually better to just get it from the source. So the VM page, there's a link for this little Team Dynamics site here. It's a little article where you can go download it. So that's the link is in the syllabus there. And you'll install it, connect it all. You'll connect to apps.opencc.edu, and then you can get to the desktop here. Ooh, we need to use VMware Blast Protocol. Interesting. Yep, so the JDK. So you'll click the JDK link, and we want JDK 15. That's the ready for use. Ignore the early access one. JDK 15, and we're going to pick your platform, either Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever. It's just a zip file that gets downloaded. Once it's downloaded, you can right-click on it. Come on, computer. And you'll say extract. So just like extracting a zip file, and you'll go put it in that folder. So I typically use C OpenDev. So if you don't have a folder, go to your C drive. Uh-oh, running out of space on my hard drive. So if you don't have something called OpenDev already, you just right-click and say you want a new folder and call it OpenDev. Where did mine go? My computer's being really sad and slow. Maybe refresh. There's a new folder. Okay, there's my new folder. I can name it. I think OBS just eats. I mean, it's only using 10% of my CPU. Should be okay, but you can rename it OpenDev and put all that stuff there. That's where I put it. Okay. Oh, what is it? Oh, let me cancel. Let me make sure I'm using the right service here. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, I have to connect here, and then I can pick the VMware Blast. That's right. I log in. No, where's my option to use VMware Blast? That's all right. I'm sure I'm using it. That sounds right. Oh yeah, VMware Blast Protocol. Cool. Here's the desktop. And if you haven't heard already, if you're taking 8 credits or more this semester, you can get a laptop from OCC for free. So take advantage of that if you need some sort of computer. They're not the fastest thing in the world, but they're definitely not the worst. So ignore the links on the desktop. This Netbeans is the old version of Netbeans. This is not Apache Netbeans. So ignore the one on the desktop and go to C:\opendev Apache Netbeans, or just Netbeans. And then in bin, you can find Netbeans, Netbeans 64. Either of these should be fine. One's the 64-bit version. I don't think it makes a big difference to what we're doing. And here is Netbeans. So this is the older, this is version 11. It's not a big deal. It'll be perfectly fine. This will have all the things we need. So you can do it from the VM as well. I'll come back to this in a second. Let me go not full screen. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so I've got my Apache ready to go. So I'm going to run the installer here in a second. This is from my computer here. I think I told it to open. And then we'll do GitHub in a minute. I guess I can do that while I wait for this to open. Is it opening? Maybe it's opening. There it goes. Here's my little UAC prompt. All right. So this is the warning we get. Okay, that's fine. If we have not installed... twice. Come on. If you've not installed the Oracle version of Java, Jdk 8, which their version numbers got different, which is really weird, it's going to be unhappy with you. But that's okay. We can still do it. So I'm going to hit start. I'm going to type in PowerShell, which is better than the command prompt. You don't want the ISE one. You just want regular. And you want to run as administrator. Otherwise, it'll be unhappy with us. So I need to go run the installer with that command that it told me I needed. All right, come on. Mine takes a minute. I've got a little bit of stuff in my PowerShell profile. Okay. So from the C drive, I'm going to go find my folder, users, Eric. Now, it looks like I'm typing really fast, but I'm typing like 2 or 3 letters at a time and then hitting tab for it to autocomplete. So go to downloads, and then let's see if I can find it here. I have a bunch of junk in my downloads. I think it's Apache, right? I should probably clear out my downloads folder at some point. Don't know that number. I'll talk to you later. So let me run that one more time. It'll tell me what I need to do to install it. So we need to, because it doesn't find the OpenJDK automatically, because we didn't install it, we just unzipped it, we have to tell it where to find it here with this Java home. So it says if you run -java home with the installer, you can tell it where your Java home is. And our Java home is where we unzipped that JDK. Sounds really crazy. I promise it's not too bad. I can get on a screen share with you guys if you need it to get you up and running. So I'm going to go find that Apache installer. So again, I just type a couple letters and hit tab and it autocompletes. Autocomplete is phenomenal. And I need to tell it Java home. 1 dash, 2 dashes. Maybe it's 1 dash, Java home. And I'm going to tell it where to find it. So it's C:\opendev /JDK. And I want to use the version 15. So it's going to run this installer from the command line or PowerShell here, telling it the Java home is here where we unzipped that folder. Oh, what? Is it? It must be 2 dashes, -- Java home. I'm going to hit up. It gives me the command again, so I don't have to retype it all. There we go. So 2 dashes for Java home. Now it should install and realize, oh, hey, I want to use this JDK version here. Life should be good. It sounds obnoxious. I'm sorry. It's a one-time step, and then we're up and running. So we'll get you going here. And yes, I accept the terms. You guys are welcome to read it if you want. And I want to install it in OpenDev. So I'm going to change that path here. Says it's not empty. Yeah. Okay, fine. So I need to go delete my old Netbeans folder. Sure. Delete. delete. There it goes. Okay, my computer's just slow. It did delete. So it's going to install it here, and then it says, oh, hey, there's where Java Home is. If you can open Netbeans and learn to discover, I think so. Yeah, well, I'll be there in just a second. Almost ready. I just have to finish installing, and I'll be there. I also am a type 1 diabetic, so it does occasionally happen where my sugar gets too low and I get really weird and like shaky. So I've got it on my phone here, which is really cool. It does this monitoring with a continuous glucose monitor and gives me alerts. So I am checking my phone a lot. It's not just to send text messages, I promise. It's to monitor my sugar to make sure I'm not shaky and going to pass out. So thanks to the marvel of modern medicine, I'm still alive, which is nice. So it could be worse for sure. All right, it's checking for updates, of course. We'll give it a minute here. Ooh, what we can do, no one's redeemed the points yet, but that's okay, you can have a free one, is I'll tell you guys a dad joke. Give me a second here. I collect terrible dad jokes because I think they're hilarious. And you guys are welcome to redeem your points for dad jokes. All right, this is a good one. So a friend of mine that I went to high school with, she lives in Florida now. I think she got sick of our winters or something like that. But she works as a bartender. And she was telling me this story one time about like all these crazy people she finds in Florida, because Florida's just a weird place. But this guy walked in and he had a weasel up on his shoulders, like kind of like a pet ferret or something, but it was a weasel. She said, "Oh, that's weird. I've never seen a weasel in a bar before. What can I get you?" Pop goes the weasel. All right, that one wasn't great. Sorry, apologize. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are better than others. Why does this number keep calling me? A 734 number? Are any of you guys 734 people? That's the weird thing, is like everybody has different zip codes or area codes now. Come on. Let's go, Netbeans. I guess I have to tell you another one, because it's still waiting. Oh my goodness. So I had the experience when I was younger and a wee lad that my father did not like us to change the heat on the thermostat, to turn up the heat. And we kept the house at a comfortable 68 degrees in the winter. And if I was cold, he told me to go put on a sweater, which is fair. That's fine. But I told myself when I became an adult and I had control of the thermostat, I would set it at 70 because that is more comfortable. And I want to wear a t-shirt, and I'm wearing a t-shirt now. And that's fine. But apparently 70 is not warm enough for some of my children. So my daughter complained that it wasn't warm enough, and I told her she should go stand in the corner. And she looked at me really confused and asked why she should stand in the corner. And I said, because it's 90 degrees. I feel like that one was better than the weasel joke. I don't know. Maybe still questionable, but I think it was a little bit better. I'm actually going to delete these old 14s because I don't want them hanging around. And I free up space in my hard drive anyway. A math joke. I've got a couple other math jokes. I'm quite fond of math jokes. One of them, you need calculus, though, before it makes any sense. So depending on your plans here, if you're moving on to like an official computer science degree, you're probably going to be taking calculus because that's required. Yeah, that's a you're welcome to have any of these jokes for sure. All right, let's see. So I think I installed Netbeans, so now it should show up when I type Netbeans. There we go. All right, so my friend who's a bartender again was telling me a story about this crazy night that she had. It was so busy there. In fact, she said it was an infinite number of mathematicians were in line, and she just couldn't serve them all because it was just an infinite number of them were in line. She could see no end to the line of mathematicians. And the first one walks up to the bar and says, hey, I'd like a pint. And the second one walks up to the bar and says, I'd like half a pint. And the third one walks up to the bar and says, I'd like a quarter of a pint. And the fourth one walks up to the bar and says, I'd like an eighth of a pint. And she says, all right, hang on. She grabs 2 glasses, 2 pints, pours 2 pints, and tells the mathematicians, you guys really need to know your limits. What? Did I lose my internet? What is going on here? I think I'm still there. All right, Apache NetBeans. Whee! I've got that ring alarm system, and I just got to notice that my ring alarm went offline. And I've occasionally had it get unplugged, but I don't think that was a problem this time. All right, so yes, you get to Apache NetBeans, and it starts. You probably don't have any recent projects. That's okay. No deal. I'm trying to close that one. It's not closing. There's. Cool. So I don't need any of these final project things. All right, so I'm going to go to File, and I want to do a new project. But actually, I don't yet. Oh, they said that exact same. I mean, it's a classic joke, so I can't claim any credit for it. All right, so before I start a new project, I want to show you guys GitHub. So here we go. We'll go click on the link for github.com. I already have an account, so I don't need to sign up. I'm going to get the desktop client, desktop.github.com. Go ahead and download this. I already have it installed. I'm sorry, this one's quick. And this one, you don't need admin permissions to install. So you can go download this on the virtual machine. Here, how about we do it here? Let's do that. I'll go download it on the virtual machine here and show you how that works. So while that finally loads, I need to go create a repository. This is a one-time step you guys aren't going to have to do, so don't worry about it. I'm going to go to my GitHub account, and let's go find this here. So this is all previous classes. I've got the code out there public for a lot of these. So I'm going to go to, just a second here, repositories, and there's a button for new. You guys aren't going to have to do this step because I'm going to make it for you. There we go. I just want to make sure I didn't show any repositories I shouldn't. Come on. Doc. Okay. So this is CIS 1500. This is winter 2021. Okay. My repository will be public. The one I make for you guys will be private, and I will have access and you will have access. Okay. So just wait a little bit. You don't need to make your own. I'll make one for you after you guys send me your username in a minute. I want the README. I want a git ignore, and I want it to ignore for Java. And I'm going to pick a license. You guys don't have to do that. Again, I just do the MIT open license. It's a nice, easy one. You can read more about it if you're curious. But for me, that's fine. So I'm going to create that repository. So this is where all of my code that I do in class will live. All of your code class examples will be here. And I'll show you how it all works in a minute. Okay, so we copy that, and I'll go add that link here to Desire to Learn. The limit does not exist. Well, the limit exists of is it 1 over n when n approaches infinity? I want to say it's been a little while since I took calculus, so some of my math terms are bad. So I'm going to add a little link for you guys here in case you forget it. This is our course GitHub repository. So this one is my repository. You guys won't put your code here. You'll put your code elsewhere, right? But if you want to find my code, you can go get it from here. I'll show you all that in a minute. Okay? So it'll be out there, and it'll open up this. GitHub is a pretty cool hosting provider. There are other ones. Yeah, 1 plus 1 over n as n approaches infinity. The sum of 1 over n from 1 to infinity. There's all sorts of fun math terms. Diverges. And I'm trying to remember all my calculus terms here. I don't... Does it diverge? Because it approaches 0. The term itself approaches 0. I don't remember. That's okay. It's not a math class. You can go ask one of your math profs. They, I'm sure, will be glad to enlighten you when it comes to series and limits. I'm just telling jokes here, folks. Anyway, so GitHub is phenomenal, and it will let you view code. So let me actually show you this fall 2020, just for fun here. Just to let you see these things. Yeah, I'm going to take TX Vorce's advice and say it converges. All right, so I'll make these folders, essentially, and I'll show you in just a minute how those work really easily. And if you want to see the code that's inside of it, like Chapter 2, you click it. It's a link, and it opens up the folder. And again, there's all these other files we don't care about. I want the stuff in source, src. I'm going to jump into there, and it says, oh, here's a chapter2.java file. That's the file that's interesting. So you can go and see, this is actual Java code, yada, yada, yada. We'll get to this later. Don't worry if it looks crazy. We'll get to all of that. But you can go see the code itself. You can even copy paste from here, which is nice and easy. And there's a URL you can cite if you need it. Right? You can copy this, paste this URL here. If you are going to copy paste, I do suggest you use the raw button here. Raw will let you copy paste a little bit nicer when it comes back out. Just copy pasting right from here, you tend to get a lot of extra white lines or white space. So yes, I'm going to make a repository and you will clone it here. I'm going to make a private repository for you, and we'll get to that. I'll put a little thing out so you guys can give me your username later. Yes, okay. This one here. Let's see, did this ever wake up? Maybe it woke up. Did my virtual desktop wake up? Come on. It's a little bit slow, unfortunately, and my computer's slower right now because I'm streaming. I've not had too many complaints with the VMware. It's not a perfect solution, but it's better than not having anything, I think. Yeah, it's dead, Jim. Let's try it again. Horizon VMware client. Let's log in. College-wide CIS. Maybe now I can make it bigger. No, I don't want full screen. Stop being full screen. I hate full screen. There we go. All right. I try and never use Chrome. I think Chrome is terrible spyware. Much more fond of Firefox. And Edge, I'm a fan of Edge. I'm a big Microsoft fanboy. They have all my data anyway. But I get reward points or whatever, and I can redeem for Starbucks coffee. Anyway, so what we will do is go to desktop.github.com. That was, I did not want to search. Desktop.github.com. Go to the website. There we go. And download. And yes, you want to save it. Wow, that was a fast download. This is nice. And we should be able to install this without any sort of additional privileges because it will install to our users folder. So Windows should be fine with that. You'll need to log in. So after you make your account, you can log in. And then I'll show you there's a step you click clone and you go from there. So I'm going to sign into github.com. Oh, geez. Why would tab take you to forgot password? That's terrible. Tab should take you to password field. Tabbing is terrible. Come on. There we go. I've got two-factor auth for various reasons. You guys probably don't, and that's okay. Nothing of yours is probably all that important. But if you want it, you can turn it on. I always do recommend people use it because it's phenomenal. And open the desktop. Yes, please. Okay, it got me logged in. Yes. Yeah, two factors, phenomenal. So what you're going to do, and this will be your step, but not this repository. I'll send you a link to your repository later. So I'm going to say clone repository from internet, and I want 2021. You'll probably only have one in your list. I haven't, because I've been doing this for a while for all my classes, because I love GitHub. And so it takes a little while to find it. There we go. Clone. You hit clone, and it will make a folder with this name. So all GitHub is a fancy file watcher. It'll be available on Twitch immediately as a VOD, Ethan, and then I'll export it to YouTube, and that usually takes maybe half an hour for it to export and process before it'll be available on YouTube. So if you go to repository, this is the best menu for you here, repository menu. Everything you're going to do is here pretty much. We're going to say show and explorer. There's a folder named CIS 1500 Winter 2021, and you notice it has a couple things here. If you go to your view options, you want file name extensions, and you want hidden items. And now you'll see this is a .gitignore file and a .git folder. Don't touch the .git folder. Leave it there. This is where all the magic happens. No, if you install the tools locally, you don't ever need to use this VM. But if the tools aren't installing locally for you, or you don't have permissions, or for whatever reason, you're welcome to use the VM as a different option. We're just trying to make sure everyone has access to all the tools that they need, since we don't have a classroom we can meet in with computers ready to go. A lot of people bring their laptops anyway, because they're better. So it's a folder here. And what happens is anything that happens inside this folder is watched by Git. Git's just a glorified file watcher. So I'm going to make a new text file just for fun here. I'm going to call this test.txt. I'm going to open it up, and I'll say hi from the VM. Save and close. And now if I come back to my GitHub client, this is nice little like purple octopus cat icon. I forget what it is. I think it's octocat, I want to say. It says, oh hey, you notice this is green. There's a new file here, test.txt. It's new. Great. So what I want to do is I want to commit this change. A commit is nothing more than a snapshot point in time of what this folder looked like, what the files were like. So to make a commit, you have to give it a message. That's the first box down here, the small box. This is test from VM. So these messages, typically you want to be useful because you'll be able to see them in your history. Some people make funny jokes, some people just put blah, whatever. I prefer them to be useful, but again, you're not getting points for your commit messages. So once you have a message here, you can click the commit button, commit to main. Boom. And now my button over here changes to push, or you can also hit push over here. I'm going to say push. So the first step changes it locally. The second step, push, changes it on github.com. Okay. Now, if I come back out to github.com, let's go back to our 2021 repo, enter 2021, we're going to see there's a new file. Or what you can do is you can go to repository, and you say view on GitHub. For you guys, your repositories will be private, so if you have not logged into your github.com account, it'll say it can't find it. Don't worry about it. Well, so you won't be able to clone my repository. Technically, you can clone it, but you can't make changes to it, because I'm going to make you your own repository. Yeah, you don't have one yet, Abla. I need to get GitHub usernames from you guys and create the repositories first. Yep. So just I appreciate you jumping ahead there, but just after class, I'll post a thing where you guys can submit your usernames for me. But you'll see there's a test.txt here, and I can click on it and I can see the file contents. It's amazing. Hi from the VM. Cool. So what I'm going to do here now, I need to clone the repository on my desktop. Posture check. Thank you. Let me sit up a little straighter here. Two in a row. All right. I guess I should stretch up real nice. All right. I want to file clone repository 2021. Come on. Maybe winter 2021. Come on, GitHub. So this is doing it now on my desk or laptop, not the machine. There we go. So, and you can do this on, if you run multiple computers, you can use Git as well for that, to keep everything in sync. I'm not going to use the VM after this because it's a little slower, but I just want to show you how it works. I'll go ahead and I'll close the VM down. And you can install the tools. Everything is there that you need. The older version should be perfectly fine. You shouldn't run into any trouble. I'm going to sign out. All right, so now I've got the repository. And if I go to show and explorer here in a second, there it goes. No, come on. Give me the right repository. I just cloned it. 2021. I just did it. There it goes. Repository, show and explorer. We'll see the same thing here. So Git watches the files and can keep things in sync for the files. It's phenomenal. Yeah. Don't need that one. Here we go. So then I have my test.txt file here. So this is what's important. You're going to need this path here. C users, Eric C, download, documents, GitHub, CIS 1500, winter 2021. When you clone the repository, you can put it somewhere other than your documents GitHub folder. I don't really care where you put it. It doesn't matter. You just need to be able to go get to it, and you can always go find it with repository show and explorer. Once we have this, if you just click in that little breadcrumb path here, it'll copy or highlight the entire thing. You can do Control-C for copy. Now we can come over to NetBeans and say File, New Project. We're left off. What you want is the Java with Ant Java application. That's the basic one here. Maven and Gradle are really fancy. They do some other really cool stuff. We're just going to do the basic Ant one for now. We'll get to the FX later. Don't worry too much about it. We're going to do a Java application. And then it says, what should we call it? This is Hello World. And now this is the important part. It says, where do you want to put it? I don't want it here in Documents NetBeans projects. If I put it here, Git is not watching for changes in NetBeans projects. Git is watching for changes in this folder. A triple click will typically highlight the entire text for you. Double click will highlight a word. Triple click will get the entire line, just if you like shortcuts. So it says, okay, we're going to put it inside this folder in a folder named Hello World, the project folder. This is fantastic. We want projects inside of folders. It makes things nice and easy for us. And if we let this create main class for us stay checked, it's going to write a bunch of code for us already. It's fantastic. I hit finish and it will go make a bunch of files. And now we'll notice here in GitHub, the GitHub client here, there's a bunch of stuff. Sure. Right, we'll see a bunch of files. We don't care about these other ones. None of these matter to us, really. We like the files. We, as in the royal we, me, I, all of us, we like these files here. But what we really care about is the file named something, something, something .java. .java is the file that has all of our code inside of it. And that's the one I care about that I can grade. The other files I can't. We'll give it a second. It's loading. It's not the fastest thing in the world, sorry. And I didn't reboot lately. Okay, cool. So now I have Hello World. So in Apache NetBeans, this is your Project Explorer. This is the easiest view I find. There's other views you can use, but we don't need them for right now. You can open it up inside of source packages, inside of Hello World. You'll find hello world.java. That's your file. Okay, and it gives us a bunch of stuff, which is awesome. This public static void main string args, we'd have to type in by hand anyway. So if the computer can code that for us, it's fantastic. And it says, hey, to do code application logic here. Great. And now GitHub, again, should see some files there, or files. So the git ignore file changed. This is good. You want that one to change. Just leave that file alone, let it do its thing. It's saying anything in the private folder, ignore. Don't commit anything that's private online, which is good. We'd want that. These other files, they're fine. Just ignore them. We want this hello world.java file. And we can see, hey, this line by line by line, this is what's out there. So I'm going to make a commit. I'm going to go to this summary line here. I'm going to say started project hello world. World. I'll say commit and then push. If you don't push, github.com won't have your changes. And if github.com doesn't have your changes, I can't see your changes. I can't see your code. And that makes it really hard to grade stuff. So I always recommend after you commit and push, go to repository, view on GitHub, and you'll be able to see it on github.com. And what you're going to turn in for all of your projects is a URL to the link to your project. I've got 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. We can do it. We can write our first project. All right, it's not there yet. Let me give it a refresh. Sometimes it takes a second for that to finish. Yeah, it's still working on it. Come on. Refreshing. There. So there's a Hello World folder. Perfect. We want the folder. We want the source Hello World folder again. And hello world.java. We can see the Java file. So this is the URL that they're going to turn in Desire to Learn for me. Again, we'll do this. I'll talk more about the project, the very first project on Wednesday that you guys want me to turn in. So you'll do all these steps, install all the tools, commit stuff to GitHub, to the repository I have yet to make for you. Just give me a little while. I'll make that for you, and we're good to go. So I'm going to change it here. So I want the very first program you always do in any programming language. I don't know who started the tradition, but someone did, and we follow it. Is you make the computer say "Hello World." It's just what we do. So if you type S out and then hit Tab, what's too fast? I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of shortcuts. Any good programmer is lazy. And I mean that in a nice way. I mean that they are efficiently lazy. They're not going to do things that take more time if there's a faster way to do it. So instead of typing system.out.println, right, I can just type SOUT, S out, and hit Tab, and Netbeans will finish it for me. And it means, oh, you mean system.out.println. Yeah, it definitely goes a little fast. Don't worry. We've got the video recording. I'm just giving you the overview. We're going to get into it again on Wednesday. And we'll do all the tools. Yeah, so you don't need to be following along right now. Right? If you're trying to follow along, you're going to have some trouble. Oh, is it? Shoot, let me close some stuff down. Close. I get some lag every now and then, sorry. If my computer's trying to do too much. Let's see, can I close anything else? Close out Netbeans. All right, is that any better? I think the bit rate looks like it's stable. I didn't see any big breaks in the bit rate. Anyway, so we're gonna make this say "Hello World," and this is gonna go inside quotes for reasons we'll talk about next week or on Wednesday. I mean. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry it's been laggy. That is unfortunate. Probably need a reboot. Yeah. I can close Steam. It's offline. Yeah, so all the downloading stuff, we'll go over it again if we need to. But yeah, a couple steps. All the links are there in the syllabus. But happy to work with you guys on getting it downloaded. Anyway, so now we have system.out.println, hello world. We hit the green run button. This is going to run our project. And in these lower section here in Netbeans, we should get our output. If you don't get output, which is, I have not yet found a good solution to this, you can right-click on your project and go to Properties, and then under the Compile section here, if you uncheck Compile on Save and hit OK, it'll work a lot better. I don't know why it does this, but it's annoying. Now when you hit Run, it should work. Now I'll get output. Maybe I just need to save more often. All right, it's 11:50. I want to show you one last thing here. See, it says "Hello World." That is the output. So our program worked. It's great. And then if I come back over to the GitHub client, it should be there. The Zoom link should be there in either the calendar event or the document. There's a Word doc, and then it's also in the calendar event. So we're going to see what changed. So they're not green because they're new. So Git is really good at tracking things at the line level. So specifically, line 18 was changed here from this to-do comment to system.out.println hello world. So I'm going to commit that. Hello world's complete. Commit and push. And then we can be done for today. We've got the SI session hanging out on Zoom. If you can't, go ahead and email me. I didn't want to put that link out public here on Twitch. So if you do need it, let me know. I can find it for you there. We're going to meet back up Wednesday at 10. We're going to get into chapter 1, and then our first project will be, you will be doing this slow working, following all those steps that we just did. So it's a pretty basic intro project just to make sure we can get all of our tools up and running here. It should be in Desire to Learn. There's a calendar event for it, and then there's also a Word document uploaded in the course information section. I'll just email it out to everybody here in a second. I can just do that. That'll work. Yep. Let me go do that. Where? I have the course page already up here. All right, I'm going to do that offline so I don't show all of your names and everything. All right, see you guys Wednesday. Keep in touch. Find me on Discord. Text me, call me, email me if you have questions, and we'll meet up then. Thanks, guys.